Good afternoon. I'm Tom Rivera, and we continue interviewing Mejia family members. And now we have Lydia Mejia Rodriquez and her husband Hector. Lydia and Hector, thank you so much for being with us at the reunion.
Thank you for having all of this here.
Well,
and having us here.
I don't know who had the wonderful idea, but it's a great idea.
It's a wonderful idea.
And we just started, what, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago?
Yes.
And your sister Rachel called and said, we have to have a reunion.
Yeah, let's blame it on Rachel.
We should.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then both of you are from San Jose. You live in San Jose. And that was a trip down to Colton.
It was very good. We stopped, actually we arrived Friday night in Santa Paula, or Friday afternoon in Santa Paula.
Santa Paula
because Rachel lives there.
Your sister Rachel.
So we spent the night there at the house, and we all got up early this morning to come here.
Uh-huh.
So.
Now tell me, how are you related to the Mejia family?
My mother was Felicitas, they called her Lita, and she was married to my father, Jose Robles.
Okay.
And then, when he passed on, later on she married Rudy Zuniga.
Mm-hmm.
And she was one of 12 of the children.
Mejia
kind of
children.
in the, yes, and kind of in the middle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so.
I think they had 6 girls and 6 boys.
It was 7 girls and 5 boys.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay. And Lita was in the middle of...
Kind of in the middle, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was like 2 or 3 below her and a couple above her, so.
Now, your father, Jose, was from Santa Paula.
Yes.
Now, how did they meet?
They met in Santa Paula. They met in Santa Paula. They were both working, well, he was living there, and our grandfather, Gonzalo, he would travel around like all the other families did.
Gonzalo Mejia from Colton.
From Colton, yes. And they traveled around with the fruit, and they met there in Santa Paula.
So if California grew it, Mejia picked it.
Right. There wasn't a tree that the Mejias didn't know about.
Let me ask you, how did you and Hector meet?
Well, we met in high school.
Well, what happened that you were not in Santa Paula?
Well, when I was 2 years old, my mother and father decided to move to San Jose. And we, bought a house there, and that's where I grew up in San Jose. So I continued going to school, the schools around our area, and we ended up at the same high school. And one time we were going to go to a basketball game. I used to belong to a club, school club, it was called Trevone, and we just did a lot of things that, volunteer work. But we, our turn was to go hand out the programs at the basketball game. So we went, got in Stella's car, Stella's old 53 Chevy, and it didn't start. So we said, oh, what are we going to do? We have the programs. So we saw Hector's friend. I didn't know Hector at the time. We saw Hector's friend, and we asked him, Benny, are you going to the basketball game? He said, yes. And he says, and I said, we need a ride. Stella's car doesn't work. And he said, well, I have my dad's truck if you don't mind. And I said, that's fine. We have to get to the basketball game. So we got in the truck, and then I'll let you take over.
Okay, we got in the truck. I got on the passenger side, and Dora Gutierrez got in the center, and Benny was driving. And he started the truck, and he was backing up, and I said, Benny, stop, stop, stop. I want to get in the back. I knew a couple of the girls back there. So I got back there, and I didn't know Lydia. They introduced us. But I had seen her around school, but never talked to each other or anything. So when we got to the ball game, she was, real friendly and fun to be with, and the girls went and sold their programs, came back and sat down, and we just had so much fun. I don't remember how the girls got home. I guess their parents picked them up. And come Monday, I go to school, I go to my locker to get my textbooks so I can go to my class, and Lydia was there talking to Louis Carlson. He had a locker next to me. So I said hello to her, so she smiled at me, I smiled at her, so they got my text, and I turned around and said goodbye to her, and she said goodbye, and I went on to my class. Well, the bell rung, I go back to my locker to get my next text to go to my next class, and she had switched lockers with Louis Carson. She sent him down the corridor, and from that point on, we've never separated. We've been together
You
for...
planned that.
I did.
You planned that.
And it worked because we've been married almost 52 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You were a dead duck then.
I had no idea, but I remember...
Of course not.
But when we first met, then like maybe the second time or third time we got together, she starts telling me about all the stuff that she don't like, and I just met her, so I don't care. You know, she was telling me about not to play around with her. She says one thing she was deadly scared of was she had a phobia about spiders. She says, I'll sock you if you even try to play me. Don't even play with me that way. I said, fine, I really didn't know, but she was a nice girl. She started telling me right there and then, and it's never stopped.
52 years.
Yeah.
That's, well, congratulations. That's wonderful. Now, how many children do you have?
We have 2 boys,
And their names are?
Hector, and he's 50 years old, and Vincent is 47 years old.
And tell me about Hector, a little bit about his black belt.
Well, Hector is a 7th degree black belt in martial arts, and he's actually in June, he's going to be testing for his 8th degree.
Wow.
And he also takes jiu-jitsu now. He's added that to his repertoire. And Vincent works for Intuitive Surgical, and he builds robots that they operate with. And that's what he does. And on the side, he is a wrestling coach for Bellarmine College Prep.
So he's a busy kid.
Yes, both of them are very busy.
And how many grandkids do you have?
We have 2. Oh, I'm sorry, 4. We have 3 girls. Gabrielle's the oldest. She's a senior at the University of Hawaii. She's like, I think, 23. Then there's Alex, just started high school at Bellarmine College Prep. He's a freshman. And then there's Jackie and Marin. Jackie's in the 7th grade, and Marin is also in the 7th grade. They're both 12 years old. So yeah, so we have 3 girls and 1 boy.
Oh, very good, very good. Now tell me, you've always kept up with the Mejia family.
Yes.
Tell me about that connection. What did your mom inspire that, or was it part of the family to do that?
It was just part of the family, and Mom would come over here to the Mejias. And as far as families, like my paternal side and my maternal side, I feel that I've always been very close. We are a very close family, and we may not see each other all the time. We talk to each other occasionally, but when we see each other, it's like we hadn't seen each other for a long time. But
Like today?
Yes, like today.
Well, tell me about your genealogy. You're doing a lot of investigating into genealogy. Tell us about what
Okay,
you're doing.
I started, well, I have the Mejia family, the Robles family, Hector's family, his maternal side, the Acostas, and then the Rodriquezes. So I started concentrating on the Mejia family. And I just go into Ancestry.com, and I also have another resource, which is Family Search. Now the Mormons lead the FamilySearch.org, and I have gone to the Jesus of Latter-day Saints in San Jose, and they have a family center, which it's like a library, and they have people that help you to get deep into the...
And what have you found out about the Mejia family?
I have found out that I found,
Where
in
did
fact, just...
Grandma and Grandpa come from?
Grandma and Grandpa was from Jesus Maria Aguascalientes, and Grandma was from Rincon de Romos in Aguascalientes.
Uh-huh.
And that everybody pretty much stayed in Jesus Maria. And that's where our great-grandparents and our great-great-grandparents, because I was able to, in fact, just 2 weeks ago, I found our great-great-grandparents.
Share that with me.
Yes,
Share
I
that
have. I was so excited because
Are they Mejia too?
we have Leonardo Mejia, which is our great-grandfather, and his father was Alejo Mejia, and his wife was eulogia. And then our great-grandmother, Luz or Lucia, I wasn't sure if it was the same person, but I verified it was. And they had, their parents was Luciano Cruz or de la Cruz, and the mother was Crisanta Medina. And that was just so exciting for me. Whenever
Oh,
I
can
find,
imagine. That's exciting
Yeah.
for me. You're telling me that now.
yeah,
I want that information.
yes, oh, it's extremely exciting, you know. And Hector just, you know, he comes into the room, and I'm just so into the genealogy, and I'm finding, I'm going, yes, yes, and he goes, what? You know, he gets, and I just get so excited because I find another relative, you know. And then I thought, this is something that when we have the Mejia reunion, I need to share with everybody.
So you
because-
brought your
Yes.
your diagrams.
Yes, I brought, you know, the family tree and posted it and everything else, and anybody who can help add to it, you know, more than welcome to, you know, because I want as much information on our family as possible,
Wonderful.
the Mejia family.
Now tell me, when did Gonzalo leave Mexico?
He left,
That's our grandfather.
yes, Gonzalo Mejia left approximately, it was in the early 1900s actually that he came across.
And then they went to New Mexico?
They went to New Mexico and they lived in Chambarino, New Mexico. And then I found out that our grandma Paula Santana, that she had a sister named Maria Martinez. Well, she must have married a Martinez. And in Chambarino, it was a 1920 census. And there was a girl on there, and her name was Severina. And the thing is that they put down that that was their daughter. Well, until I started really digging around, in fact, I even called you and I asked you if you knew who Savera was. And you remembered that there was a person that used to come to all the family gatherings, and you thought it was a friend. And you were young and didn't even ask questions. So you weren't sure.
Well, what can you do?
But-
And then when did, then Grandpa and Grandma left New Mexico in 1922 or so,
Yes,
and they came to Colton.
yes.
Now, why did they come to Colton? Why did they pick Colton?
I'm not really sure. I didn't have the story behind that, you know, so there's a lot of things, I have voids that I need to fill.
That we need to
Yes.
fill those voids.
Yeah.
And we'll do it together.
Yes,
We'll just exchange that.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll exchange the knowledge on that. Now, getting back to you guys, being married for 52 years, what is the best memory that you have about being married?
the best memory, our children, having our children,
Uh-huh.
you know, and of course having the grandchildren, which is great, and they say that grandchildren are even better because when they start acting up, they can go home with their parents.
We're so blessed, we've had so much fun, you know, with our boys and our grandchildren. We see our grandchildren, Gabrielle, and Alex and Jackie, Marin, not quite as much Marin, but first three, 5-6 times a week. And they share them with us, and the boys, we see them, same thing, 5 or 6 times a week, and they always look in on Lydia and I to make sure we're okay. It's just happy times for us, you know.
I think one of our highlights was our first house, and we were so anxious to get into the house that we didn't even have a refrigerator or anything else. And there was a grocery store a couple of blocks away, so we got up in the morning, went over to the store and buy a quart of milk and a box of cereal, and then went back home, and that was our first meal in our house. We didn't have beds, we didn't have anything.
Yeah, so that was exciting. That was very exciting. Now, again, you know, keeping in touch with the Mejia family, I've noticed that the Mejia girls are very tight with each other.
Yes,
Yeah. They call each other regularly.
yes, they do.
Yes.
And, you know, there's, you know, because it
And you
is
can-
such a large family,
Uh-huh.
you know, we have little groups of, you know, who keeps in touch with these cousins more and these cousins more, and then we end up calling each other and filling in what's going on. And it's just wonderful.
Well, you know, it's kind of a parallels to living in San Jose, because San Jose, you must have, what, 1 million people that live in San Jose?
Plus 1.2 million,
1.2 million?
not
And
counting the surrounding areas.
And you still have a close relationship with your kids and your
Yes.
grandkids.
We do, we're lucky.
Yeah, and again, because it takes a lot of time and effort, and you kind of support that relationship that you have. And then also the Mejia girls, like you and your sister, do support getting together and keeping in touch with everybody in the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we just, it's something that it comes from the heart. The Mejias just, they're just loving. Everybody is loving. We see each other and we just grab onto each other and just give us the biggest hug.
You can feel the warmth. They
Yes.
share it amongst each other. Yeah. It's awesome.
It is, it is. Well, listen, is there anything else that we should talk about that affects your life? Well, wait a minute. Did you work during all this period of time?
Oh, yes, I started out as a hairdresser.
Okay.
Hector was going to barber school after high school, and I went to beauty college. And the reason I went to beauty college is I wanted to be a secretary, work in an office.
But your mom was a beautician.
Well, the thing is that our cousin Gloria, when she graduated from high school, her mother came and asked if she could live with us because she wanted to go to San Jose State. So my mother said, okay. So now Gloria lived with us for about 3 years and became another sister. And so she ended up meeting Pete Lira, and they got married. They met at San Jose State, but she decided she didn't want to go to school anymore and wanted to go to beauty college. So she went to beauty college first. And then my mother wanted to get out of the cannery work. So she said, well, Auntie, go to beauty college and I'll help you.
Oh, that's how she got to beauty college.
But the thing is that my mother needed a GED. Because back then, I guess all the
we didn't go to
kids,
school.
they didn't
Our
go to,
parents
up
did
to
not go
8th
school.
grade. Up to 8th grade probably.
Because they needed them for work.
Yes. And so my mother went to night school and she got her GED and then she signed up for beauty college. And so when Gloria was living with us and she was going to beauty college and she had all her studying to do, I would help her with her studying, quizzing her and everything else. And then when my mother started in beauty college, well, I was just there and doing the same thing with my mother. So after I, as they say, pounded the pavement looking for a job and I couldn't find anything, then my mother said, well, why don't you go to beauty college? Okay. So I went to beauty college and it was very easy for me because I had gone through it with Gloria and my mother.
Now, how did you wind up working for the county?
I decided to leave beauty college because we didn't have any insurance, family insurance. So I thought I need to go work for a company. So I went to work for a company. Hector was a barber. He continued barbering, but I decided to go work for a company. And I moved around a little bit here and there, and then I decided to apply for the county
Of San Jose?
of county of Santa Clara.
Okay.
And so I applied, and I was able to take the test and pass the test, and I started off as an office clerk, and then just moved up the ladder until it became a family support officer, which we negotiated on child support
And
matters.
when did you retire? After how many years?
I worked for the county for 28 years, and I retired because I was forced into retirement because of back surgery.
Okay. And Hector, you still have your customers. When you started back then, they still look for you.
They do. I have customers I've had for 30 years. I mean, they leave the area, and I just had one come in from Germany. He called me up. He's working for his company, and they sent him to Germany for a couple of 3 years. And he calls me up when he's coming in. I give him haircuts, and he's doing what he's doing, but before he goes back, he tells me, I'm gonna be back in 3 weeks and give you a haircut before I go back to Germany. And I have some customers from Utah, some live in an island off the Oregon coast. They're pretty loyal, and we just became friends. You know, we hate change, and we kind of just have a good time. I mean, it's tough to find a barber this day and age because people don't get personal service anymore. Everything is being outsourced, or a computer, or text. You don't even talk on the phone.
And then you do it
anymore.
by appointment now.
All by appointment.
All by appointment.
I'm pretty well organized. I actually have a shop at home. I go by appointments. I have a handyman business. I do that by appointments. And I work in Los Altos, California, 1 day a week, and it's all by appointments. So I don't really wait for anybody. And I guess as long as you're consistent and you're there and you're supposed to be there, it works.
Well,
And they've come to trust me.
It's almost like being in love with a hobby, or it's what you're describing. Being in love with what you do and like doing.
That's right. That's right.
Lydia, did I forget anything that you would like to talk
No,
or
I just,
mention?
no, just really happy to be here.
Oh, we're delighted.
Really.
We're delighted.
And thank you for everything. And this
Yeah.
interviewing is wonderful because we can look back on it. You have done other interviews in the past, and we look back on them and
This will be the sequel. You're like
Yes.
Star Wars.
So,
yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
cousin.
thank you, Tom.